Hello and welcome to HBM's UFO Corner. This week I'm focusing on the Belgian UFO wave of 1989 to 1990. This says 30 years later, but this was written in 2020. So it's actually over 30 years later. We still don't know what really happened during the Belgian UFO wave. A months-long wave of reports culminated with two Belgian Air Force F-16s chasing mysterious objects through the skies. At first, the witnesses claimed all you noticed were the lights. They were so bright you could read by them, so brilliant that a policeman described them as like lights on a huge football field. Only gradually did you notice the object they emitted from. A hulking triangular shape with three enormous spotlights pointed toward the ground and a red flashing light at its center. The whole thing, recalled the policeman, as if barely able to believe it himself, was floating in the air. It was a clear November night in 1989 near the town of Eupen, Belgium, which sits some 7 miles from the German border. Heinrich Nickel, the policeman, and his partner Hubert von Montigny called their dispatcher to report the object they'd stumbled on while on a routine patrol. Suddenly they told me they were seeing a strange object in the sky. Albert Kreutz, who was on the receiving end, told Unsolved Mysteries in a 1992 episode. It made no noise. We joked about it and said it might be Santa Claus trying to land. But by the time the evening was over, at least 30 different groups and 3 separate pairs of police officers would allege to have seen the unidentified flying object. And they wouldn't be the last. Belgium's months-long UFO wave culminated over 30 years ago today, on March 30th, 1990, in a physics-defying chase through the skies over Europe as 2 Belgian Air Force F-16s pursued mysterious objects on their radars that they couldn't even see. But okay, did aliens really visit Belgium? It certainly seems deeply, deeply unlikely. Yet 3 decades later, it's still hard to entirely dismiss the 2,000 odd sightings that took place in the country between November 1989 and April 1990. As Patrick Farron, the president of the Belgian Committee for the Study of Space Phenomena, SOBEPS, told the Telegraph, "You must know that most of these sightings will have the most banal explanation, but there is a residue which we simply can't explain. And of those, there may be 2 or 3 where we may have questions over where they come from." Lots can be ruled out, though. For example, a classic photograph of the triangle-shaped aircraft, known as the Petit Racine picture, is without doubt a hoax. The forger admitted as much when he came forward in 2011. We made the model with polystyrene, we painted it, and then we started sinking things to it, then we suspended it in the air. Then we took the photo, the prankster confessed to Reuters. Brian Dunning, the writer and producer of the podcast Skeptoid, also refutes a number of the sightings, arguing that the November apparitions were in fact a helicopter, and that the police officers were interviewed by a biased ufologist. Conflicting information published by Reuters claims instead that the lights over Eupen were from a Soviet satellite breaking up. Well, I have to wonder, were there actual UFOs flying over Belgium back in 1989 to 1990? Or was it just hoaxes, misidentifications, and wishful thinking? Over 2,000 reports claim that these were legitimate UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, and the reports were credible enough, though, that Belgium's Air Force, federal aviation authorities, and police devised a plan to try to catch one of the unidentified intruders in action by preparing F-16s to quickly take off if a sighting was ever reported by both the police and the radar station at the same time. And that happened on March 30th when several policemen and 2 military radar stations spotted an unknown object. Once aloft, the Belgian pilots tried to intercept the alleged crafts, and at one point recorded targets on their radar with unusual behavior, such as jumping huge distances in seconds and accelerating beyond human capacity, Brower writes. But frustratingly, the pilots never managed to see the object they were pursuing. After analysis of the craft's readings, the Air Force's decision was that the evidence was insufficient to prove that there were real crafts in the air on that occasion, Brower reports. Still, throughout 1990, the Air Force was asked, and can never specifically account for the sightings which, all told, numbered in the thousands by the time they quietly started going away again in April. So we have one hoax. We have over 2,000 reports. Could all of them merely be only the product of wishful thinking or misidentification of common aircraft? That's a question I think only we can answer. And we don't know for sure. But yet I do wonder about it. I really do. I have to wonder, did this actually happen? Can 2,000 individuals only hallucinate or misidentify something? It would have to be the biggest case of mass hysteria referring to UFOs that I've ever heard of. So there's a good chance that at least some of the reports could be credible. I'm not going to say that all of them are, but there's a good chance that at least a few of them may have had some basis in fact. I don't think we'll ever know. I'm not sure there's been another UFO wave like that in that country since. At least none that I've heard about. And that's going to do it for this week. We want to thank you very much for tuning in. You guys are the heart of the show. And once again, I'm stumped as to what to talk about next week. But I'm sure it'll be something interesting. And something really terrific. So until then, y'all be good or be good at it. This is HBM's UFO Corner.